Let's bring in our next guest. He's the founder of Built Bar and the CEO of FEASTBox. And if you're a close follower of BYU sports, you've heard the words FEASTBox more in the last 2 weeks than at any other time in your life. They have a unique thing going with the Cougars, and here to talk about it is Jody Rookstool. He is, as mentioned, the CEO. We welcome you to Wise Guys, and we're going to meet Chef Daniel in a minute. But good to have you here. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, Dave. I'm excited to be here.
FEASTBox. It's got to do something with dinner and something to do with sports. Tell us what it is.
Well, the concept is one thing we know is, as football fans, feasting and football tend to always go together, right? No matter what we're doing, food and football just go together. And so, we sat down with Fessy and Kalani back in March and April and the sponsorship team and said, how do we, one, help BYU kind of navigate this new NIL path that they're trying to blaze? And two, we had this amazing cuisine that was, one, my favorites, which is Texas barbecue, Hawaiian barbecue, Korean barbecue. And that's what we're really, really good at. We have a production building in Springville, and, we brought a bunch of chefs in and different pit masters, and those are the three that kind of rose to the top. But in the game day box, which we'll talk about, we got a bunch of other really fun flavors too.
Yeah, you have a website that went live today, CougarFeast.com. Just went live today, right?
It did, yep. Today was launch day.
So what is that, and what's that all about?
So what that is really an at-home tailgating experience for Cougar fans all across the country. No matter where you live, any of the 48 states, we have these two incredible meats, two sides, and these really fun appetizers, and it's for 12 people. And when you say 12, we mean 12 adults. Now, some people may split it and say, hey, it's 6 for the game and 6 for Sunday dinner, and kind of split it up a little bit, but it's a feast. And that the food is the foundation, right? That's what we do. We specialize in that.
But anywhere in the United States, like, so if you're a BYU fan, you're getting ready to watch that Oklahoma game that we just talked about at home, and let's say you're in upstate New York where I grew up, right?
Right.
You're like, hey, we want to do a Cougar tailgate party. You order this stuff ahead of time, and it comes all the way from Utah, and it's like, how does that work?
Well, one of the things we've gotten really good at over the last 2 years is, one, making food that we can preserve and have it taste just like it came off the grill, 3, 4, 5, 6 days later. So we do a unique cook process. I call it food tech, which normally isn't a word you use with food, but we can take that, preserve it, vacuum seal it, and there's some unique things that we do with marinades to keep it really fresh. And so when it reheats in your oven, or even on your barbecue, or if you want to do it that way, the food's shipped to you. It goes either overnight or in 2 days, depending on where you live, and you'll get it on Thursday or Friday. You put it in your fridge, and it's ready to go in about 5 minutes of prep on game day.
So you're going to show us what's in a FEASTBox.
We are.
And what's on the menu, and then to order, you go to the site and you just kind of, okay, you know what, we're going to have a party for the Kansas game, and so I'm going to have 12 people here, and I'm going to do this. And the reason I'm going to do it here instead of down the street at a place is I get to help BYU athletics at the same time.
That's the amazing part, is we found a way through, Kalani.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Yeah, what do we got there?
So,
we'll get to Kalani in a minute. What do you got there?
One, we've got our smoked brisket, a beautiful smoke ring on it.
You guys keep asking questions.
Yeah, why don't you guys
Dave,
start
can
eating?
Can you
Dave's a little bit further away.
Hey,
we got brisket. We got our mashed potatoes. We got our cowboy baked beans. These are just 3. So every meal comes with 2 sides, as you can see. That's
How'd you
one
get this
of
warmed right now? Did you already just warm this just now, or did you bring it warm?
Same way we do. We just warm it in an oven, keep it hot in the tin.
And UPS brings it, or
UPS or FedEx, depending on where you live.
No kidding.
Yeah.
What if you want to do something like this for a tailgate right here at BYU? How does that
So
work?
the great thing is it's literally pre-made tailgate food. So if you want to spend 2 hours grilling it, you're welcome to, or you can literally do this version, and you got the brisket, you got trites, all of our different meats across, really 5 different types of barbecue.
So this one's beans, mashed potatoes with lots of good cheese.
All right, so while Blaine's salivating over that, now explain.
I shouldn't be talking with my mouth full, but I was.
Explain why Cougar fans.
That's awesome, Daniel. Thanks.
Daniel, where are you going with that?
Yeah.
Wait, let Dave have a brisket.
Explain why Cougar fans need to order this and who benefits, and we'll get to the
Absolutely.
cherry.
So first and foremost, this all happened through a process with Kalani and the sponsorship team. How do we help BYU win in the NIL world? First, it's been a little bit of a problem for
Sure.
BYU. They're not going to jump into the pay-to-play and
Right.
open bags of cash for kids because they run a 4-4 or whatever. BYU's just not going to, and Kalani's never going to do it.
Right.
So what we tried to come up with is, one, how do you first and foremost focus on helping the student athlete grow? And so we launched actually yesterday with the BYU team a mentor-based NIL program where there's a combination of what is name and image and likeness, which is what we've done. We've got Aiden Robbins and Caleb and Tyler Batty and Connor Pay and a bunch of great players that are part of this NIL where there is an NIL component. So first, there is that benefit. Second, the biggest thing Kalani wanted and what really bound this together was he wants his players focused on doing good and being involved with charity.
Yeah.
And so 10% of all the proceeds from the Cougar Feast goes back to Feed Families in Need through Full of Hope, the charity. So it's players, it's 10% of every sale is going back to Feed Families in Need. And then third, obviously, there's a benefit to BYU and the BYU athletic department that's coming. And then fourth, obviously, FEASTBox if there's anything left over. So
Our friend from Santa Fe, New Mexico said, yes, sir, ordered a box for the Arkansas game. All right.
Nice.
It's
Already ordered
in.
it. Les, way to
Already
go. Oh my goodness.
Why didn't the wings come over here? You just all going over there? Is that
So
how
now
this
this is
I think we
macaroni
need to swing
salad.
around to Dave.
So
Dave's
here's
got a little
another
food.
menu.
So mac salad, wings, and what's that right there?
This is our sweet and spicy pork. It's on our Korean menu.
my
So
gosh.
first of all, every box comes with 2 meats. So like game one, for example, game one, Sam Houston.
Right.
You can choose the Texas box or you can choose the Korean box. Every box is 2 meats, 2 sides.
Is this the Korean box?
This is part of the Korean box,
That
the
one
sweet and
is right
spicy
there,
pork.
yeah.
This would be an appetizer, like the wings. This is the mac salad that's part of our Hawaiian box. We kind of gave you a sampling, but I think you need to swing this around.
Last,
to
what is
Dave
your
for a
order? What is
second.
your order for
Definitely
the?
did swing around here.
What did you order for the Arkansas game?
I went with I think he went with Memphis style.
Yeah, BYU
looks
Sports
like.
Addict says, "Can you guys please stop it? I haven't had dinner yet."
Kay Porter says it smells so good. Must have one of those. Mike's in from Beaumont, Texas.
Kay Porter's got a smell mic
now-
at his house.
And visiting with you before you got
Yeah.
here, this is yes. Just go ahead and leave the whole thing here. This is an emotional project for Kalani Sitake.
The thing that drew me to this project, I got to tell you, was Kalani the man, not just Kalani the coach, but his passion to do things the right way honestly stunned me. Like I knew him a little bit, but I didn't know him like I got to know him through this process. And what I learned is there were several things he said to me over and over through the course of 7 or 8 meetings. One, I want to build this team around character and culture. We'll never win an arms race against the big boys, ever. They will always outspend us. So how does BYU do it the BYU way? And, I could tell there was some frustration with some of the things that had happened in the NIL world with him. And so I think what he was trying to do is say, look, if we're going to go into the Big 12 and compete, we can't just simply try and outspend because it'll never happen. And so we got to do it in a way that's going to attract those type of players that want to be part of that culture. Certainly being in the Big 12 helps, but, you take Aiden Robbins and Caleb Etienne, for example. I asked them, why are you here? Why did you could have got a check somewhere else. And they said, first and foremost, we love how we felt when we were part of the process. We love the feeling. We love the players. We love the culture. And they fit, right? They're going to be 2 huge impact guys. And that's what I think what Kalani's committed to. Yes, there's some money that needs to fund to some of those players, but Kalani's pretty serious about it doesn't need to be a truckload of money.
And I've heard Kalani talk, and we've talked to some other folks that are involved in NIL. And you got to be able to go sell your NIL program. The benefit of what this does for the athletes family, and all that. In some places, like you said, just backing up a truck of cash and saying, "Hey, how's $250,000 sound?" Right? And we've heard Kalani say, it's not only about the charity part of what we want to do, but it's giving these players business mentors that they can get involved with that help them understand how to run a business, how to build a business, how to build an income over time, and to support themselves forever when they get out of school. Other schools aren't talking about that. Is that something that you've talked about with Kalani, and are you mentoring some of these players that you just talked about so that they can learn how to do this on their own and go away from BYU with a set of skills to be able to run a business which makes them better for the rest of their lives?
And that you just hit on, Blaine. The entire point of the program is he's committed. Look, less than 2% of players are going to end up in the NFL getting a paycheck.
Right.
And it's a 3-year average career, right? If you do make it. So it's not like most of these guys, most of them, when they leave BYU, they're done. That's the last time they'll put on pads. So the goal is when they leave, how are they equipped to go to the world? One, with the network they've developed. So there's initial group of 7 mentors that have started, and each of us have about 10 players that we're working with. And the goal is not just to help them do the business part of it, which is, we'll call that the actual name, image, and likeness, but it's also, how do we help them become better men? How do we help them develop the skills so their career, particularly in leadership, no matter what career path they go, how do we help establish that so that their experience at BYU truly changes them forever? That's really the BYU way. If you think about what BYU is all about, is trying to change their character. And that's yes, there's money involved, but Kalani's adamant it's never going to be what some of the other programs are going to be.
If I'm a parent, and it goes back to the old saying, hey, give a man a fish, he eats for a day. Teach a man to fish, he eats for a lifetime, right? And so give a kid a bunch of money and he has a knee injury and he's gone and that's it. Yep. He gets a check. And then is he any better for that when the check's gone? Or get these guys involved in programs where they get life skills, learn how to run a business, have a network of people to help them get that thing set up. And they have a chance to come out of this program at BYU and make it income for a lifetime with skill sets.
Exactly.
And if I'm a parent, which do I want my kid to be involved in? I want him in that program where he learns to take care of himself and be a family guy and do all of that the rest of his life, and not just a wheelbarrow full of cash that goes away the minute he gets hurt.
Well, and think about it from this perspective. If you're on that team and some kid that you've never seen hasn't stepped foot on that campus gets this big check, and everybody else has been busting their tail for 2 years gets nothing, how does that blend in the culture? It doesn't.
Yeah.
You saw it at Texas A&M. You've seen it at other schools. It just doesn't translate. And so if you bring it in, and the goal is a team-wide mentor-based NIL. Now, we're going to have to get some additional mentor sponsors involved, but the goal is first get it across the whole team. Mm-hmm. And that's really, and there's some other programs that there's an incredible model that's been built, and we're just launching it, but Kalani and BYU are determined to do it this way, and this Cougar Feast really is the first product that's like, hey, Cougar Nation, no matter where you're at, no matter where you live, one, be part of that game day. Whether you can't be at the stadium, be part of game day. And by the way, Dan, bring this in for a second.
There's more than just food in this.
I got to show this because this was the fun part as we put this together. Every BYU fan knows they love swag. So we got fun things like pickleball rackets.
Nice.
That are going to go in. We got great hats, and it's all BYU gear. There's about $100 of BYU gear. You got different hats, and every week's a different package. But the goal was, hey, not only can I have this food experience, but we got this swag that shows up, and now it feels like this BYU fan event. So no matter where they're at, they can kind of feel connected to the team. Everybody loves swag.
Everyone
it
loves
stays behind.
Swag.
And everybody knows it's not cheap either. So, getting that free as part of the package is something we put together.
Jody Rookstool is the CEO of FEASTBox. On Wise Guys Tonight, we're live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and ysguys.com. Spencer's ordering his for the TCU game.
Yeah, and somebody's asking, like,
Kay Porter had a
deliver
question.
To Austin? And you do deliver to Austin,
We
right?
deliver to all 48 states.
They were asking, do you have to be at the game? What if you're at the game in Austin and you want to tailgate in Austin with this food in Austin?
Well,
that's a little tougher one. I'm giving you a tough one.
No, actually, what's great about this, so think about this. If all I'm doing is taking...
Oh, my goodness gracious.
I told you guys to come hungry.
Hey, can I get some mashed potatoes on there? And maybe some of those baked beans?
So here's the amazing part about it. And I've done this both ways. You can take those trays that we do a unique technology where we par cook it, flash cool it, and then vacuum seal it. Whether I open that vacuum seal and put it in my oven, or I just literally can physically put it on the grill, or I can put the pan on the grill, add a tailgating experience. It's now your tailgating food that you can focus on the fun and the football and the swag and not necessarily have to just be tending the grill the whole time. So 2 meats, and the great thing is on a price per person, we tried really hard to make this affordable for Cougar Nation no matter where you live. It's less than a meal at Chick-fil-A. Anywhere from $10 per person to as high as about $13.30 per person, I think is what it is right now during our preseason sale.
Oh, yeah.
So that was another factor that BYU was like, look, it's got to be affordable for everybody no matter where they're at.
We've got your link up for everyone to see on all our platforms. CougarFeast.com. We're going to eat this here in a minute.
Hey, Dan, Elijah's in the house, so you better bring that
Elijah's here. Elijah Bryant's going to join us in a minute.
Elijah's going to join us on set in just a minute, but before he does, we ought to give him something to eat. I'm feeling like.
All right, for all our guests, we do 5 questions. You ready?
Let's
Yeah,
do
you
it.
ready for this?
And first of all, we think this is fantastic. So we're glad to.
This is great stuff.
Glad to help you, to be a part of it, and we speak to Cougar Nation in a very unique way, and a lot of folks will see this tonight. So thank you.
Love it.
Okay,
All right,
here we
number
go.
1.
Favorite sports movie.
Favorite, Remember the Titans, not even close.
Okay, that's
Not
our
even
that's
close.
our. You know what? That's our number 1 overall.
Yeah, I think so.
For everyone's Remember the Titans.
'Kay.
So we're going to ask you these, so pay attention, Elijah. Not exactly the same ones, but most of them are the same. Favorite singer or band?
Oh, favorite singer or band? Let's go with the Eagles.
Eagles. See, that's a good old school one.
We just saw the tribute band over at the Sierra Shell.
Okay.
They're
it
pretty
was
good,
fun.
you said, yeah.
Yeah.
Your favorite breakfast cereal. This is important. This is how we really know about somebody.
Ooh, we're going to have to go with chocolate Chucks.
Thank goodness.
Chocolate what?
Chucks.
Chex.
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 Okay.
Okay,
So
I thought you
not
said
just- I thought
Chucks.
you
I'm
said
like,
Chucks.
is there a cereal
Chex.
that's evaded me all
Chocolate
these
and
years?
Chex. I thought it was
Yes.
just like chunks of chocolate. I'm like, now that is my kind of breakfast cereal right there. Chocolate Chex. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Your favorite BYU moment?
No question, hands down, 3 weeks off my mission, I walk onto BYU campus. My first game I ever go to is Miami, 1990.
Oh, yeah.
That was the first game?
It was the highlight of my entire BYU career, and it was the first one. So
Well,
that was 3 weeks after getting home from my mission, and like I still remember it with chills.
If you have to pick one, that would be.
that was it.
I
that would be it.
date
I
myself.
was out
but
on the field,
but I
up on
called
some
that
guy's
game.
shoulders,
Really?
and doing the whole thing. It was awesome.
So while you were out celebrating, Ty Detmer was running for his life, making a beeline to the locker room.
yeah, I
That's
didn't get to see
classic.
that because I was down on the field with the fans.
Yeah,
but
the environment that
Sweet.
night was like none I've ever felt
man,
before
that was
since. It was
magic.
it was
It
like
was magic.
electric in that stadium. I got to call that game a long time ago.
Yeah.
So that's a good one. Your favorite FEASTBox item?
Favorite FEASTBox item.
And by the way, I'm digging. What is this stuff again, Dan? This right here.
You just picked it up. It's the sweet and spicy pork.
Yeah.
That is my
By
favorite.
the way, speaking of
that's my
spicy,
favorite item.
those chicken wings had a kick.
Did you have one of the wings?
Yeah, they're great.
I was worried it was going to be too messy. Okay, I'm having.
They
this.
might have been
Yeah.
messy, but there's some napkins over there.
Yeah, the sweet and spicy pork is by far my favorite.
That is
So,
some good
Sweet and
stuff right
spicy
there. I'm
pork.
telling you right now, that is some good stuff. And the brisket's great too.
yeah.
I better try the beans. I can't. I have to only speak on things I know.
And you've jumped into you're
Yes.
a major partner with BYU.
Yeah.
And BYU football.
You know, because here's the reality that most people think, oh, NIL, just throw some money at these kids. Well, as a business, there's no return on investment in the just straight NIL. It's not possible.
Yeah.
The only way it would work is if somehow you get BYU and their voice, right, their ability to push it out through all the channels they have. And that's when the corporate sponsor team got involved. I'm like, okay, if we blend these two and we make it a BYU full of hope player combination with FEASTBox sort of supporting it underneath, that's the combination that was working. We knew that was the only way it was going to work, is to be a full corporate sponsor with them. And so it's been a lot of fun.
Neil Jones is live from Tucson with us, praying that the U of A folks vote to join the Big 12. Who do you want in the Big 12? You got to pick one team, let's say.
If I'm going to pick one out of the rumor mill of what's going on, I'd say I think we're all hoping that Arizona gets pushed over the edge here in the next 24 hours.
That would be nice. I'm still holding hope out that maybe there's an Oregon-Washington deal coming.
you know,
But
as
that's
a-
a long shot. Arizona's more of a likely deal.
I actually was enrolled at the University of Washington, and right after my mission, and backed out and got in a car and headed to BYU. So I have a little bit of ties, but it definitely would have taken my life in a different direction.
Hey, shout out to Todd Wright, tuning in tonight from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yeah,
watching us
on
eat.
On this show, we have had one from Australia
Last week
We
we
have
had
them from all over the United States, but we've had
Love
some
it.
fun folks in from. We've had South Korea.
You got 500,000 alumni all over
Yeah,
the place.
we have them
Exactly.
joining from Japan. Corey Yoshimura usually joins us every week from Japan, unless he's off doing a tournament. He's one of the guys that runs the PGA Tour in Japan.
We think we're going to have some folks in Turkey
yeah.
watching tonight because
Yeah,
we
'cause
tweeted out
Elijah's
that
on,
Elijah's coming on.
and he's a champion over in Turkey. So we appreciate you being on. This is a great thing. First of all, it's really, really good and it's fun. But we love that it benefits BYU and the athletes at BYU and charity all at the same time. And this this great look at how to. It took us a little longer to get this program out than some, because some were just saying, well, let's just fill up a dump truck full of cash and just put it on people's driveways, and long term that wasn't going to be sustainable. This is the beginning of a long-term sustainable way to help BYU's athletes and to teach them skills and to help the program.
Let's cue up that image for a second, as we're just that image that we brought in.
As we wrap up, Richard's joining us from Panama.
I love it.
So Panama's in with us tonight.
Love it.
All right, so this is Aiden Robbins ready to eat.
This is Aiden, and I got to tell you, he probably is the funniest guy I've seen since Jamal Williams, and in a BYU uniform. He loves to dance, and he had a fun
Aiden is a
time with
baller
it.
too.
That guy is.
He
unreal.
rushed for 1,000 yards last year for a team that really doesn't have an offensive line at UNLV.
Yeah,
and we knew he was going to be good when we asked Kelly Papinga, BYU's linebackers coach, who was coaching the backers at Boise State, top 20 defense last year, and he's like, dude, we did everything to set our defense up to do nothing but stop that guy.
Yeah.
And they weren't very good up front, and he still rushed for over 100 yards on us. I said, okay, he's going to be just fine then.
Yeah, what a great spokesman for you.
Yeah, how about that?
And Aiden, he is a phenomenal human being. Like, I love Aiden. I've gotten to know him, and I got it with Kingsley on the left and Caleb on the right and Connor in the middle, and we got a couple guys battling for guard spots. I got to tell you, Aiden is going to be in the end zone a lot this year.
He's going to play behind what I think could be, maybe before it's all over, the best offensive line in the Big 12. Which is usually not what happens when a team goes from, well, we haven't really had a team go from independence to a P5 program, but BYU's doing that. But from a G5, you usually don't match up front, but those two guys, and you mentioned those guys, and you said that Etienne is part of your NIL program.
Yeah, he is.
How many FEASTBox can he eat by himself?
Of a human being.
First of all, out of my group of players, I've got 6 guys that go over 300.
Yeah.
And so
6 over
we
3.
pounded some food last
It only
week.
seems like if you're doing a FEASTBox, you ought to have guys over 300.
It's either 12 people or 4 of those guys. So that's sort of the amount
that
of
sounds
food.
about
But
right.
Caleb's that guy is going to make an impact. I mean, you put Kingsley on the left and Caleb on the right.
Oh man,
I got to tell you, Keaton's going to be feeling really comfortable back there to keep those ends protected, because those
Monsters
are 2
on the edge.
monstrous men protecting him and those corners.
Jody Rookstool, CEO of FEASTBox, thanks for coming tonight. Are you going to, by the way, you going to leave some of that?
We're going to leave all of it.
Oh, really? All of it?
Elijah's going to have to just finish pounding it when he's done here.
When he's done, he'll go after
Elijah
it.
won't eat before he comes on. I'm going to have one more bite of this.
Thank you so much. Good luck to
it's
you.
been a lot of
And
fun.
Give it to
let us
Daniel.
know how we can help.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Thank you,
Daniel,
brother.
thanks for coming in. And the big party
Thanks
is
so
going
much.
on over there. Our whole crew's going to go eat instead of...